Morning, everybody. It's Friday, and here is my broadcast for the day. I need to open up my Restream chat so that I can see you guys. Boy, there's a lot of shaking, and the camera goes up and down, and up and down, and up and down. What's shaking? Is that this? Yeah, that's this. Okay. Here we go. We are up for the day and working. I was going to work on Fred's thing again, but I actually got an override commission, and I thought this is interesting and fascinating and different. So I thought I would go on ahead and do this instead, work on this and try to get it out the door. So I'm going to go on ahead and share my screen. Okay, here we go. So about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that, I drew this piece. It's been a long time. There's stream for both of us, Pepper. We're at 11. Oh, Pepper, I want to bring you into Restream, if that's okay with you, because now we can share. We can do this together. So that seems like a thing. So anyway, this piece here is a piece that I did a long time ago, and it was originally a Black Widow piece. But the guys at Earth Tau saw it and said, this is perfect for a card, and they wondered if they could buy it outright. And I said, yeah, sure, you can buy it outright, because honestly, my feeling on fan pictures and stuff like that is that I'm okay with them, but I can't sell them, and I really don't feel comfortable selling them at conventions and things like that, even though that seems to be something that sells well. It doesn't make me happy. So, and this is a personal thing. I don't mind other people doing that. That's totally okay. So don't take this as, I'm dissing all those people who are doing that. I'm certainly not. It's a personal feeling on this one. And so I just feel, I don't know. Anyway, so I have a hard time selling this particular piece because I feel bad. And so I kind of run the gambit here. Here, I'm going to turn this back on here because I got to bring up the brief real quick. That's what I'm doing, is bringing up this brief, because I need the card overlay to see where everything fits on the card. Oh, man. Once the pen is engaged on this thing, it is a pain in the butt to do the mouse. I swear I have more problems with just in general. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at here, and we're going to have to place. So this is going to be an issue. All right, now I'll share the screen. Well, actually I won't. Hang on. Let's block out our piece, or the information, so that you can't read the card on this, because I actually don't need her vital stats to be up. I just need the spacing of things. Now that we've done that, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share the screen. Good morning, Brent. Good to see you, my friend. We are working on a interesting piece today. I was going to work on Fred's piece for the third day in a row, or Fred's project for the third day in a row, but I got preempted here. So, buddy of mine works with EarthTow, and they're doing that card game, and I have done a zillion cards for them. And good morning, David. Good to see you. And so I've done a bunch of cards for EarthTow. I like top morning of that I think is the best way to explain this morning right now, right there. Those 4 words, David, that's the way I feel about this morning. Anyway, so EarthTow saw yesterday I had posted the original pencils of this piece. And this was a Black Widow piece. It's just something I had done for, right? I had done this piece for a competition a couple of years back, probably 4 years back. And it's one of my favorite pieces. I spent way too much time with boxes trying to get the frame of this picture. I saw it in my head of her doing a one-handed backflip and shooting backwards. And I could see that in my head, but boy, was it tough. I couldn't grasp the whole thing, and I sat there and I redrew and I had every part of the anatomy broken down into little teeny pieces, and oh man, it was a mess. But the end result was it turned out to be a great piece. But it's Black Widow, and it's a Marvel character, and there's nothing I can do. Well, yesterday, a buddy of mine who works with EarthTow said, "That is a great piece. Can we use it?" And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do anything with it. I mean, really, honestly, what am I going to do with this? I can't sell it or anything like that. It's Black Widow. So we're repurposing her to be Rock Salt, which is the character in this game for them. And I'm going through here, and what I did was I changed the side panels to a drab green, and then changed her face, and then changed her hair because she's Asian. So we had to go through. I mean, the thing about the briefs that come in from EarthTow is that they have racial alignment and stuff like that. So when you draw the character, he's done a randomizer on the characters so that he can represent all races and cultures without bias, because we all have bias, and that's the way it goes. So I really admired what he was doing. So I ended up with Rock Salt, who's Asian. So we had to go through and change a little bit here. I haven't gone through and fully changed it, but she's part Asian and I think part, well, I don't know, something, one of the Caucasians. So anyway, what I'm trying to do now is get her to fit so that her face isn't covered up by the items on this particular piece, right? So want to be able to, let's see here. What do we want? I guess multiply will work in a pinch. No, I don't like that. Let's see. I don't need anything but to identify here. So really, just hit delete. Right? I mean, that's all. That's all I got to do. Now, regardless, everything has to fit inside this border. See, I think I may have made a mistake there on that one. Let's go back one step. Let's go back 2 steps, because this is, I need to know where the card ends. So that's where the card ends. I'll deselect it. And then yeah, I guess I could just put in a black line up here, and then black out like that, and then black out like this. And that'll work. And then I probably should at least identify the safes on here. So this guide comes from them and tells me where everything is. So now that I have that, I can go through here and do this and do that. And that'll tell me all the information I really need for working this card. So, okay. Now we can see we've got problems with the placement and where she is in this card. So now I can actually adjust the card appropriately and decide where she's going to end up on the card so that it fits. Might be kind of cool if she is slightly out of frame like that. The problem is that I can't see her hand. So I'm actually going to duplicate this. It's not glamorous trying to figure out how to place stuff on the piece, folks. Just not a glamorous thing. So now that we've figured out that we want about this size, the question really is it this or are we going to do this? Right? And maybe it is better the way it used to be. And just offset her like this so that her eyes are... You don't want her eyes too close to this over here. You can't see her hand, though. I still feel like I want to figure out a way that you can see her hand on this piece. At least the hint of a hand. Otherwise, people are going to be like, I don't get it. What's she doing? What's she doing? I don't understand. So I want at least a thumb off this piece so that we can figure out what she's doing. Yeah, I feel like that's probably better. Okay, so at least I've got a thumb here so you can see a logic behind this. And so that's what I think we're going to do. I don't like the fact that I just resized the master. So this was just a test run. I'm actually going to still use the big piece and then resize the artwork a little bit. If I'd been smart, I would have paid attention to my numbers. Anybody happen to see what my numbers were for the resize on this? I guess not. That's all right. Because here's what I want to do. The image is a certain percentage here. And here's the rule of working in rasterized drawings as opposed to working in Illustrator where you have other kinds of 42 million. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'm so glad I have you around. The rule for rasterized art is that you can always shrink, but you cannot enlarge. So many jokes, so little time. So I can always shrink her down, but I can never enlarge her again once I've done that. So I've got to be... So what I'm doing is I have enlarged the entire piece so that her artwork is not disrupted by this. And then I will actually duplicate that again. I'm going to take a look at this one more time at this size. Really? Really? This is the way we're going to be. Okay. I'm going to take one more reversed like this and see if I get any... No, her hand still vanishes, doesn't it? There's just no way to get her hand to work in here with that box. I just can't make it work. I mean, short of there where I lose one leg, and then she really looks difficult and unpleasant. So no matter what, this is the best we're going to get. I either lose her left leg or I lose her hand in this. Which nothing I can really do about that, I guess. So what I'm going to do here is flip it around. Because truthfully, this is probably our best bet right here. I am slightly outside the safes on the books, but that makes it more chaotic and kind of fun. So I kind of like that. That shouldn't be a big problem. Putting it outside the safes should be okay. And now that I've done this, I have artwork. The original artwork is outside of that safe. So there's that. Okay. There's a lot of decision making going on here because I really don't want to mess this up too much before I'm finished with it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the opacity of the outside rig down so that I can see around it. And then I'm going to go back in here. I've got a lot of copies of this. So I feel like we are at a point now where I should make an iteration. So I'm going to make an iteration now. Because I'm getting nervous about destroying the original artwork. Anytime I get real nervous about destroying the original artwork, I start making iterations, because then that way I can always go back 2 steps or 3 steps if I have to. So the background has the original piece like this. I'm actually going to, since I have now made an iteration, I'm going to take this guy right here, this background, and just make it white. Okay. Then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to resize the artwork piece to fit the card. Now the reality is, I think a lot of this artwork ends up being outside. This is like the border of the card. But the way that they've been doing these cards is in full size. So they full bleed. And I'll show you here in a second. I got one of their cards right over here. So I'll fetch it real quick. So when they finish up their cards, here, I'll turn on my screen. And these are actually art-proof cards, so so these, when they finish these cards, they're full bleed, and they look great. But that's what they're doing here. These are their ID cards, so these aren't actual card cards, but they end up being these full bleed pieces. I love this one. This is my favorite. It's Prism Beam. Although Gunpowder Punch is not so bad. That one's fun. And then Electric Missy, which I did while. So it's funny. I remember things like Electric Missy. I did this piece. I drew the piece here, but I was on vacation to the Grand Canyon. And a couple of nights, everybody went to bed and they were all asleep and I couldn't sleep. So I had my surface with me and I just colored Electric Missy. So now every time I see that card, I'm like, I remember coloring that while we were in the middle of somewhere in New Mexico. And so it's funny. Door Girl is one of my favorites because this is a very, very different card. I painted it. And I'm so excited that it turned out even remotely decent. So there's always that. Okay, so obviously I am scatterbrained today and not really wanting to do work. I can tell. This is where I am today, guys. This is where I am. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to not turn that on there. We're going to turn this on. Multiply. And then we're going to have a color layer underneath it. Really. We're going to be. Hi. Hello. There we are. Then we're going to go through. I'm going to pick a decent skin color for her. And then I'm going to come in here with my, I don't want these sampled brushes, but I do like this watercolor brush. Take a look and see what it does. Right? I can give myself some expression in here. Good. That's what I wanted. So we're going to go through here, zoom in, take this watercolor brush, and just go in here and kind of, really, this watercolor brush sucks. Never mind. I thought it was cute. No, I'm not thinking it's cute anymore. Where's that flat brush? I like you. Right. What is this? Are we having a problem this morning? Is everybody having a problem today? There we go. And I like using these brushes because they give a pattern to what's going on. Allows me to make it look like I painted this, which, well, I did. I mean, frankly, I did. I just didn't paint it in the... Pepper will be here at 11. Pepper and I do our check-in at 11. So we'll be checking in with each other at 11 o'clock. So Pepper being Pepper, he's like, are we not doing this today? I'm like, no, this is my normal 10 o'clock, man. It's all good. Pepper. He is who he is. I love the guy. Anyway. So yes, join us at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock when we are 11 o'clock Mountain Time, when Pepper and I will do our artist check-in. I think you say that to see if I go, oh, it's not your bad. Your bad what? Oh, your bad nose? Your bad head? I don't know. It wouldn't be so bad except my kid now says that. I'm like, geez Louise, guys. It's lousy English. All right. Putting in shadows here like this. This flat brush gives a great effect. I mean, it looks like paint going down. Contrition. I love you, David. You make my day. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. My friends are weird and strange folk. You can see here, I can get kind of a nice pattern going in here. It makes it look like it's been painted. I just go through here and fill out this area, make it look a little bit more like she's got some shadow there. And, you know, from far away, it looks pretty good. Now I'll go back in with a lighter tone. Wish I had a lighter tone than that. Like here. Why is this not a tone that I've got? All right. Come back through here and do this. And just go through and highlight everything. right? And on this side, go through, and since she's Asian, I want to work on the epicantral fold to make sure that that's clear and established. I was just having this discussion like earlier about how all of us go through all these dumb anatomy classes, and then later on I'm like, oh, well, that's why we needed to know it. Right? And go in here and blend a little bit here on this side. So there's that. And actually, I'm going to go all the way to the end of the face here, just so that I have the ability, even though I'm going to highlight it in a minute with white. But for right now, I want to make sure I've got it. And then on this side, we've got just a little bit over here. It kind of gives it some depth, right? We want to be able to check that as a depth there. And that'll give some contour to her face. I mean, she's got a cheek here, a cheekbone underneath there. So we want to make sure we highlight that. And I really want that color there. Okay, so everything's click and drag except whenever I want it to be click and drag. Gotcha. We saved it. Why is it going to save as? Oh, is that another button over here? Must be another button. Give me some highlight through here. There we go. So we're also going to talk a little bit about reflected light. Like, her black jumpsuit's probably not reflecting a whole lot of bounce light. I mean, let's be realistic here. But we probably have some kind of reflected light, and I'll have to worry about that in a bit. And I'm going to go back in and paint that in later. But for right now, I'm just not going to worry about it. All right, so I'm going to come through here, down through this area. And this is all going to end up ultimately being shaded in. See, I don't like that color. It selected a color I don't think I like. Down into the cleavage area. Always great. Let's get some more brush here because this is bigger. All right, like this. Once I get out of working in the face, I can use a broader brush because everybody instinctually looks at the face. That's the place they look first. They're looking into the eyes and looking into the face. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, this area is the best part of this drawing, because everybody's going to look right at her eyes. And so I don't spend as much time with the rest of a body as I do with the eyes, because we don't have to worry as much. Now breasts rise up, so we're going to have to go through this area and do that. And give that shape there to her cleavage, because this used to be Black Widow. So since it's still Black Widow in design, we still have cleavage. Not one of my first choices, but I was just mimicking the Scarlett Johansson outfit that she was wearing in the last Avengers movie whenever I originally did this, and it works repurposed, so no point in trying to change things now. I'll go through here and darken this to her collarbone. Right? And we're looking at the contour in here. The collarbone is going to be like a bridge. So there's going to be like deepening through here on this side, but it's straight across here. So this is all going to be highlighted in a straight line. As you think about the way that the collarbone works, it's like a bridge across there, like a bridge over troubled water. So you want to make sure that it's highlighted in some way, like through there. And then we're going to get highlights through here and right there from the cleavage. And then down here is going to be, this is going to be all dark, right? And then we're going to put the shadow of the collar through here to give depth to the collar. And the reason that I did this in a raised way is because, and I think I've added way too much dark in there. That's all right. I'll go back in and lighten it back up. But I did this in a raised way, not a raised way, but I did this in multiply so that no matter what I color under here, it's all good, right? Because that's just kind of freaky by itself. But there you go. But with this in multiply mode, it doesn't matter. And ultimately, actually, what I usually will do is in reverse. I'll put the color on top like this, and then put the color in multiply. And it still does the same thing, but in the end, when I'm happy with the painting, all I'm going to do here is remove the background, remove the foreground, and then say flatten, merge visible. And that'll take all of the aspects of color and put it through, even if it's in multiply mode. So let's go back in here. I'm feeling like this is a little too abrupt through here. So I'm going to follow the contours of her neck more. Now we presume that the trapezius through here actually is like strong and running through to her collarbone. So we want to make that clear. So the neck is always going to be lines heading to the middle of the chest, the sternum. All these lines go this way and head towards the sternum. So we always want to, that's part of the reason why this looks so chaotic, is because I'm an idiot and didn't do it right, mostly. Right? Come through here, do this, do that, go like this, push it back like that, push this over like this, a little bit more. So we've got all these triangles in here on her neck. That's what we're really after, right? And that looks a whole lot better. So we'll come up here and make this area like a triangle as well. And come back around. Triangles define a lot of body types. Stop, stop, stop. There we go. And especially female bodies are a lot of triangles and circles. And when you talk about just the basics of what we look at as far as humans, we're attracted to triangles and circles when it comes to women. And it's a weird but true thing. And I don't know why. I mean, other than it's just like the way that we work as human beings, but so we want smooth curves, nothing sharp or anything like that. We'll define through here. Because entertainingly we have cleavage. I'm not a big cleavage drawing person. I don't do a lot of cleavage thing. So this is kind of entertaining to me. It's like, I never really had characters that were big on cleavage, so there's always sort of that. Let me go back through here and lighten this up a little, smooth it out. Lighten it up. Lighten up, dude. Okay. I probably spent way too much time down here on this particular part. namely cleavage. Probably spent way too much time on cleavage, more than I'm comfortable with anyway. It's all right. That looks good enough. I'm happy. Now I'll move to her hand, because we're still working in skin tones. So let's go on ahead and do this while we're at it, right? So you should have seen me trying to draw this way back when. I remember looking in a mirror trying to figure out where the heck my hand was when upside down. It's very entertaining. The things we do as artists, it's so weird. Probably not a bad idea to Google hands upside down sort of thing, but okay, so over here we definitely have this weapon upside down, yada yada yada. I have lots of darkness through here. This is the shadow side of the hand on this one. So trigger guard casts a shadow, and then I'm going to blend, right? I'm going to go through here and blend. And I'm just going through and lightly to dark like that. And in reality, the way this works is you're going to get highlights through here and stuff like that. We'll come in and put those in a second. All right. So there we go. Putting through here like this. Go through here like this. I'm going to look back here. See, I don't have my navigator up over here because I'm using the swatches. So it's difficult to ascertain what I'm doing here. So now I'll go back in and lighten this up a little and smooth it out and run with the fingers. So I'm going straight down like this to get my pattern. But then I'm going to go back over it with this super light like this and go with the direction of the fingers. Right? Because as much as I love this pattern, it's disruptive to this piece, right? To have her fingers are going, I mean, everything is going to be going this way with her fingers. So once I've gotten the pattern down underneath it, I'm going to go backwards and go back and forth like this. And that gives a much better and much cleaner look to this, right? And it smooths it out a little, like I can blend in here and I can blend in through here. I can blend back through here and stuff like that and come back through there and come back through here and give the highlight that I'm looking for her knuckles, which are not knuckles, but you get it, right? Then down here, I already got sort of the finger started, but that gives us a much more realistic look to the fingers and the hand there, so we don't have to worry about that. This is going to be a relatively easy paint because most of her jumpsuits black. So the only thing I have to worry about is, what are we doing in trim? Is her trim here the same green? Probably a lighter green, or I mean, we're going to have to think about that at some point here. Unlike her Black Widow counterpart that she was originally based off of, she actually will be a little bit more logical about being subdued. So I don't know if I want to put her in like some kind of yellow or something like that. She's not the bride. So there's kind of that. I mean, it's something to, yeah, neon green. See, that's what I mean. Is like, that's where my instincts go, is neon green. But the character is a sniper. So I just don't see her wearing neon green. It's a thing. So, doing that. And let's see. Now, the trick behind eyes. Now, of course, we all know that Scarlett Johansson has blue eyes. So, she is Asian and is going to have brown eyes, as that is literally 99.99% on the Asians. There are a handful of blue-eyed Asians, and they are very, very rare. And actually, I have recently learned blue eyes are a disorder, a dysfunction. Babies are often born with blue eyes. Yeah, hunter green or dark brown. Babies are often born with blue eyes, and then their eyes turn blue. Their eyes turn brown as time goes on. So blue eyes are not the norm. So the sclera, which is this white area around the outside of your eyes, is not true white. If we make it true white, it does make it look like her eyes are just glowing. So we've got to do something with a sclera. And it's usually what I do is I'll put in like a light blue, a very, very light blue. And we're just going to lay this in here like this. Right? And this will keep the sclera looking like it's a real eyeball. Eyeballs are just not perfect white, and they never are. Some people put gray in here, but the reason that I'll put in blue, especially like this, is that when I come back in later with highlights, I'll put in reflections and highlights into the sclera. And it also allows me to shadow the eyeball a little like this. And you don't notice it as much from far away. And maybe I need a greener or a grayer. I feel like, good morning, Alex. Could you write the power colors and accents into the chat, since I turn off my email, because otherwise it'll sit here and go binging, binging, bing all through our entire during my live draw. If you could put the power colors in here, I'll add power colors to her right now. In fact, we were just talking about colors for her because I like the green, and I wouldn't mind trimming out here with a secondary trim, but I don't know. I mean, she's a sniper. I don't feel like she'd be wearing nuclear orange. I mean, you know, she's supposed to be crawling around and stuff. So I feel like nuclear orange is bad. So I'm going for this battleship gray. It's more where I want to be. It's more like that color there for her sclera. So that's what I think we're going to do. We're going to go in here and do the sclera and gray. Like this. Right? Less dramatic, less stunning, less alarming in a lot of ways. Right? Nuclear orange is hot, but, you know, does sort of give your position away to the enemy. So here we go with a sclera like this. All right. Much less dramatic. All right. Now that we've done that, now that we've done damage, always important to do damage. Go up here and clean up the paint around here like this. Make sure that the paint's good and solid. Right? Don't mess up the paint around her eyes. Okay. She has very dark brown eyes. So this is going to be dark brown. Exactly. It's a good game. I like this game. But yes, pumpkins and exosuits. We've done that one before. In fact, it's interesting how many times we've come up with something from Earth-Tau here. Okay, her eyes are brown. I added a slight bit of this highlight here to just give amber and indigo, huh? Okay. I can do amber as the trim. I'm going to probably make it more of a rich amber, more like a brownish yellow, so like an orange. And then I can put her side colors in indigo. So this color here can be indigo, which I think would work. Sniper and shoot me here, orange. Let's find ourselves a good purple for this, right? Let me go down to this layer here and see what that looks like. This is just a rough. I'm just trying to get an idea of how badly this mangles the picture. It doesn't actually. She looks good in purple, right? Yeah, that actually looks really nice. And then start with orange. Okay, but that's going to detract from her being Asian. I could probably put purple in her eyes a little bit so that it looks like she's... But I feel like that would detract from her Asian features. The problem with manga style is that there's only slight differences that can make everything make it obvious what it is. So I'm kind of, I don't know. We can give it a shot. First, let's talk about our amber in here. And then let's talk about the amber. Because I'm thinking going in kind of this. I like the purple too. I think purple's right. But if I trim her out like this, right? That's probably going to leak that way, but that's all right. Does that look too comic booky? I think it looks too weird. Let's pull back on that. Okay, so it does need to be a richer yellow. I'm not going to be able to go that deep onto the... You know what could work, though? Yeah, see, this will work fine. I think this one will be fine. There we go. But that makes her eyes amber, and that fits. That fits. So if that's okay, Alex, we can leave her eyes brown, which would be amber, and I can put in this amber color in her eyes, and that would make some sense, right? So put in a small amount of this amber. Oh, is that amber? Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. I'm on the wrong layer. You have to stop. You're on the wrong layer. Right? So if I add this through here, like that, and then put in amber like this, that actually looks hot. That looks really cool. Yeah, let's leave that. Rather than going for purple, I think we should go with that. Because now her eyes are alive, and they're alive with this amber color coming along there. So that works. Cool. Okay. This may end up being a 2-day project, Alex. I'm sorry, we may be still working on this Monday because we're coming up on the end of my hour. Although, sorry guys, I have this, I may just end up dinking with it all night because I'm actually kind of excited about this piece. So it's kind of fun. But I've got those things figured out there. Real quickly, Alex, while I've got you as a captive audience here, placing her inside the framework of the card, I'm losing this hand down here, and that's kind of a bummer. I'm going to go ahead and paint it out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish these books. I know we're going way past the safe. I tried to make her knee not go any further past the safe than the part of the flag. So that should be good, but I'm going to finish the books off, and you guys can decide whether or not you want that to bleed to the end of the comic. I think that'd be kind of fun. This is a very chaotic piece. There's a lot of chaos going on, things flying around and stuff like that. So that could be a lot of fun. So there is that. So I will put that in there. I'll have to figure out her title and stuff like that at some point. But yeah, I'm feeling good about this, guys. This looks like a solid piece. It's going to be good for them. And we'll return to the piece on Monday in about 5 minutes or so. After this is over, I'm going to bring Pepper into a room and start a new broadcast. And Pepper and I are going to do our weekly check-in, which may not be as good for me as I'd like it to, because I feel like I didn't do the things that I wanted to do today. So, but that's all right. I was chewing through my commission list, and that's a thing. I agree. I know you. I mean, that was what I was showing earlier. I'm going to actually move this over. I think we are going to call this good. There we go. Saved up. And then I'm going to start my camera. That was actually what I was talking about earlier, because I had the cards that you gave me when we were at Hexacon. And so I was talking about how we've got yes, I was actually working on this piece. So I changed her hairstyle, and I put in the green color, which now is a purple color, and I like the purple color better. That would be awesome, because right now it's a Farewell to Arms, War and Peace, and Rock Salt are the names of the books. But I would much rather, since inside jokes are a thing for EarthTau, I would much rather have a whole bunch of titles that totally make sense for EarthTau. So that one you can hit me up on email for, because I'll turn my email back on in about an hour. So you should be able to tag me in at that point. So there we go. I probably will finish painting in her other hand because it's all the same color scheme, and I don't want my palette over here to change by the time we start again later. I mean, I'm going to have to go back in and repaint the purple to make it look painterly, and stuff like that, and give it some depth and things like that. But I'm really enjoying the way this is looking. This piece is coming out a whole lot better than the original, which is kind of funny. Also, Alex, while I have you, I had to remove the Black Widow logo from her belt buckle, and Jared was talking about she has an icon or a logo or something. Let's put whatever that logo is, let's put that in her belt buckle. She's got a blank belt buckle now. So if you'd send or just alert me as to what that logo is, I'd be grateful. That'd be great. So then I can put that in there as well. So there you go, guys. That's the start of repainting a piece. I like the paint job that we're doing here better. It looks much, much better. And I will see you guys on Monday at this time at 10 o'clock. And I will just keep working every day. I'll see you guys later. Have a good weekend. Bye.